What is up, Albie Stasek? How are you today?
Matt, haven't been better in a long time. Feeling great. I'm up here in Cleveland, Ohio, and
Right.
we had a stretch of some amazing weather, and that all
Really?
disappeared. But
Yeah.
I'm still feeling it. I'm still feeling the 75, 80 degrees that we had a little stint of. It'll come back here,
Yeah.
but overall, it's great, man. How are you?
Same. I mean, we've been getting super busy.
Good.
We had a slow period, like a lot of people did, and we identified the problem. It was me not getting on the cell phone and calling my database and following up with leads. So I've been doing that, and it's been really interesting to me to hear from people in my database that CRM's been texting them and emailing them, and they're like, "I've just been waiting for your phone call, Matt." That's it. And so we dumped about 20 into our pipeline in the last week or so, and feels like Janelle and I are driving all over the northern state of California, showing houses, but it's super fun. We're loving it.
Good for you, man. I'm glad to see things are picking back up. We are, we have our ear to the ground, every day, every week with our group, our national group, Honey Badger
Right.
Nation, and we meet on Mondays with a small group of builders, and one of the there's multiple stories of people having their best first quarter ever, like ever in their whole career.
Yeah.
And then I've heard the opposite. I've heard, people having the worst. So we kind of like dug into the people that have been having that had their best first quarter in 2023 when the rates are up and everything's slowing down and everyone's, feeling like the sky might be crashing. And what the common denominator was, what you just opened it up with, was picking up the phone on a regular basis and making the phone calls.
Yeah.
And that's why. So there was specifically a team out of near the Pittsburgh area that's part of our group, and they just hit it every week, every day, and every week. They're in the office by 7:30. Yeah. They're making calls by 8, and they're just not missing. And so it's just they started doing this back in October, which is why they had their first best. Their first quarter was their best first quarter that they've ever had.
Right.
Because they started doing the hard work. They started doing the boring work. They started being consistent, and they're seeing the results of it now.
Right.
Which is good to see.
I always think it's super funny when people call what we do hard work, right?
Yeah.
Like I have done backbreaking, installing cabinets, like working cemetery work, all kinds of hard work.
Yeah.
And you get off work and you come home and your body's just beat up and you're tired and you're miserable. And to me, for someone to say that they can't pick up their phone and make a phone call, it's just crazy. I'm like, it's simple. You just having a nice, fun conversation with people, just like when I still do everything old school, like door knocking, everything that I did to build my business to where it's at now. Originally, I never stopped doing that. I automated some things, but I've tried to keep the base and the root of my business simple, because when you stray from that, I think that's where complacency can enter your business. And that's like the worst case scenario for any business is complacency.
Well, Glenn Sanford, our founder, said it beautifully a few years ago when we were in Nashville. We were at a sprint event and he surprised us, and he stepped up on the stage and spoke to us. We didn't know he was going to come, but I'll never forget. It was just like one of those moments you'll never forget. Right. And what he said about complacency, he was actually using the terminology of coasting.
Yeah.
And so what he said was that when we coast, when we find ourselves coasting, first of all, in order to know you're coasting, you have to have the awareness that you're coasting, which means you have to step outside yourself and really like take a hard look in the mirror and ask yourself, like, are you hitting it every day hard, or do you have half? Are you all in, or are you half in?
Right.
And just answer the question honestly. And if you, the good news is that if you do answer it honestly and that you find that you're only half in it, The good news is today you can start going all in. You can burn the boats on your excuses. You can burn the boats on feeling sorry for yourself or the rates went up or all the BS that's holding you back, that's keeping you in your comfort zone.
Yeah.
And you can take your business and actually grow it during this time, because I can tell you this right now, we're losing. There's agents dropping out of this business every single day right now.
Yeah.
And they're hanging it up, and they're hanging it up at a faster rate than ever, which for us who are all in, like, there is no plan B. It's plan A or die. Like that, that group,
right?
We're going to be able to take some market share from the people who are exiting the business.
Yeah.
And look, most of the people exiting aren't selling a whole lot of real estate, but it adds up. If you look at it, let's say 100,000 agents, hang it up over the next 90 days. Let's just pretend like it's 100. I don't know if that number's accurate or not.
It's a nice easy number. Yeah, we can.
Maybe the average of those 100,000, maybe they're only selling 1 or 2 homes a year anyway, but that adds up to a few 100,000 homes.
Right.
So, looking at it from the numbers, I think that there's 2 types of agents that are really going to kind of, I don't want to use the word emerge, but will become glaringly noticeable over the next 18, 24 months.
Right.
The first agent is what we call an AFA. An AFA is an average frustrated agent. Mm-hmm. And an AFA, they're going to play a victim role. These are the ones that spend more time gossiping about all the other agents in your marketplace than actually making phone calls. Okay.
Right.
Those, they'll be bounced out of the business, or if they have a full-time job, maybe, that they can pay their fees, maybe they'll hang in there.
Right.
The second type is a honey badger.
Yeah.
And a honey badger, the honey badgers are going to make it because the honey badgers possess these traits: extraordinary boldness. They have grit and resilience. Right. They're going to get knocked down, but they ain't going to stay down.
Right.
They have a relentless pursuit of greatness, and they have intrinsic motivation. They don't need someone else to motivate them and get them excited.
Right.
Those agents, we call them honey badgers. The ironic thing is that those traits that I just listed,
mm-hmm.
those also happen to be the traits of the top 1% performers in any sales field in the world.
Right.
And that's why we formed the group, like, get up and get after it. There's there isn't one honey badger you could ever point at that's a victim.
And I appreciate you guys starting the group and getting it going and growing it to the size that it's become. I mean, it blows my mind every day, just the resources that I have available to me as a honey badger, NAEA, everything that I could ever dream of. I was with a different brokerage before EXP, and didn't work out for us. We failed pretty hard, and by pretty hard, I mean, like, if you could picture someone like face planting off a skateboard and then just sliding on the concrete, that's exactly what we did. And then we came over to EXP, and the McCarthys.
Do.
Steve's like my closest friend, brother at this point, and they took me under their wing. Took me and my wife Janelle, we're a team, under their wing, and just taught us everything we needed to know and got us incorporated with you guys. And we hit the ground running from there. And it was like night and day difference. I mean, just being able to tell myself, like, look in the mirror and say, I'm just going to stay uncomfortable today. Screw it. I'm going to love my 24 hours today, however many of those that I'm awake, and I'm just going to make the most of it and enjoy it, and getting rid of those excuses. I remember, I saw you the first time at Build 2021, I think it was, in Texas.
Yeah.
And you'd come out on stage and you're talking about, you did the whole burn the boats speech, and I was like, oh my gosh, this place is different. There were like thousands of agents. Like, I looked at Janelle and I was like, this event was put on by a real estate agent.
Yeah.
And that was that blew my mind. You know, I was like, you know, we had
Yeah.
experienced some success, and then you know, so we went to the build conference, and I was like just blown away that event, like, and just a real estate agent could put on such a huge thing. I mean, I thank Brent Gove every day that that I can. That thing is amazing.
Yeah.
And you know, it inspired me to just go all in, like you were saying. I mean, 100% all in, you know, in just a short amount of time. I mean, we're in Top Agent magazine. I authored a book. Like, none of that would have happened if it wasn't for Honey Badger Nation, man. I really appreciate it.
Man, I got goosebumps. You know, when you're talking about build, you know, I've known Brent. I met Brent Gove.
Yeah.
He would speak at Mike and Jay's Exponential Growth Summit, the NAEA annual event.
Yeah.
And Brent used to put a presentation on. He had two presentations. One was open house on steroids that he was brilliantly like famous for. And the other one, and this is my favorite, it was called Light Your Hair on Fire. And if you, I mean, I'm not kidding. That was the name of it.
Yeah.
And I'm getting goosebumps right now because that's how I was introduced to Brent Gove.
Right.
And, you know, there's only one Brent Gove.
No.
Okay. Yeah. So when you have, like, when you're talking about the value of what, you know, our agents have, and I think that there's three reasons why agents leave brokerages. Okay. Right. One, it's their relationship with the broker or team leader, or lack of. It's either strong or it's not. The second, I have these written down. The second is they're questioning their financial success. And number three is they're not getting the value, or they're not understanding, or they're not connected to the value.
Yeah.
And so when you think about the agents who are connected to the value, who go to the events, who plug in and experience what you just described.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not sure if you were with EXP already when you came to build in 2021 or.
Yeah, I was.
You were. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, when you experience it, and if you're listening to this, you should reach out to Matt. I'm sure he can get you an invitation to the build event, because it's in July in is it Houston or San Antonio?
Okay.
In San Antonio, Texas. And it is life-changing. I don't throw that word around because I don't like throwing the word around.
Right.
But it is. And it's something that if you're with other brands, you're not experiencing it, because this is not an EXP event.
No.
This is an event that's put on by one of our top earners, Brent Gove, who goes 100 miles an hour in everything he does. He is all in, and there's no question. The beauty with Brent Gove is you can't question whether he's all in or not.
Right. And what I love about the event too is, there's the component that it costs money. Big deal. You're going to get so much from that event. You're going to learn so much from that event. I mean, you're going to walk away like the first time I went, we've been twice now. Both times I felt like, okay, this is just like a personal gift that Brent Gove has given Mr. Moreno today. You know, like, you walk away from the event and you're like unpacking stuff for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
You know? And if you don't get something out of it, you didn't pay attention, or you slept in one day, or, you know, there's a reason why someone wouldn't get a ton of value from one of those events. And it's usually staring at them right in the mirror. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I remember going, I was a previous RE/MAX agent and essentially a team leader. And I went to almost every RE/MAX conference that they had.
Right.
I had nothing to compare it to, because prior to that I was with Century 21 and didn't do anything.
Did you get your yellow jacket or?
But my dad did. The reason I went to Century 21 is because my dad sold real estate part-time when I was a kid growing up.
Yeah.
And he had the gold coat. Yeah. They were all sold out. I was really bummed out when I got licensed in 98. But when I went to the RE/MAX convention, I was blown away. I think one year Gary Vee spoke and, you know, had some really cool things, but I knew a lot of the agents that would come, my friends, my RE/MAX friends, they would go and not ever step foot into the actual conference. And wouldn't,
really?
and I've been hearing that more and more of like some agents that are like different brand. I'm not picking on Remax. I mean, I'm sure that any brand, but the agent will spend the money on the ticket for the event. They'll fly out there, they'll get the hotel and never step foot. That way they go to a party or whatever. Build is not one of those types of events. Oh. Build is an event you go, you want to plug in.
Yeah.
And obviously, you know, I don't know if Tony's going to be speaking this year, but we had Tony Robbins the last 2 years. I mean,
oh yeah.
How do you even beat that?
You can't beat that with a stick, dude.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Straight up.
I mean, it's just straight fire.
Yeah.
So I'm super excited about Build. We have some other really cool events coming up. We have Rock and Rescue, which is my charity concert that I do at the end of summer.
Oh, cool.
So
what's that?
We're about to. That's in Cleveland, Ohio.
Okay.
And what we're doing, and again, reach out to Matt if you're interested in this event. Matt can give you details, but we're actually going to be piggybacking an agent to CEO course. It's a 2-day mastermind on going from agent to CEO in your business. It's how to run your business like a business, not let your business run you, basically.
Right.
And it's one of our most popular courses. And we're actually piggybacking that on the back of Rock and Rescue. So you can come spend 2 days locked in a room, growing your business with some of the top agents in the nation. And then we walk across the parking lot and we rock it out at Rock and Rescue and party a little bit. So
that's awesome.
It's a good event. So yeah, we're excited. You should make the trip, Matt, to Cleveland.
I know.
Yeah.
Stay on me. For sure. So
yes,
man, I really appreciate you coming on with me today. It's nice having these conversations with people in the company that any other company, I don't think I would have this kind of accessibility. You know, EXP has completely changed the game of real estate. Like 100%, I can't picture ever being with a different brokerage. For one, that would be ridiculous because EXP is like, it's fun, right?
Yeah.
Like, how much fun did you have at other brokerages?
I mean, I always figure a way out to have fun, but this is, you don't have to figure it out. You plug into this community. Yeah. You have what, 90,000 happy agents.
Yeah.
And the reason they're happy, and by the way, not every agent is top producing and selling hundreds of homes. That's not realistic in any company.
Right.
But the reason they're happy is whether they're selling 2 or 200 or 2,000. We have agents selling over 2,000 homes. They're all owners.
Yeah.
And they all have equity in this company. And when the company wins, they win financially because everyone has ownership. So the equity piece of our business model is one of the key drivers of the culture. And I mean, it's obviously a financial driver too, but you know, it really binds us together as a group because rising tides raises all ships.
Right.
And that's what Glenn has created here for us at EXP. So I'm excited to be in business with you, Matt.
Yeah, I'm excited to be in business with you too. Again, thank you for coming on today. Stick around for a minute.
You got it.
Thanks, brother.
Take care.